Alexander of Epirus not only lived at the same time as Alexander the Great, but also conquered a significant part of the ancient world and died while pursuing dreams of controlling even more. He also happened to be Alexander the Great's uncle. In this video, I focus on the last days of Alexander of Epirus as described by Livy. I welcome you to my YouTube channel where I explore ancient texts. The ancient texts I explore in this channel are those that have been around for thousands of years. At the moment, I'm going through From the Founding of the City by Titus Livius or Livy. This is a collection of books written about 2000 years ago and covers the history of Rome from its founding by Romulus in the 750s BCE to the time when Augustus was emperor, which was close to 0 AD. If you have not subscribed, subscribe so that you do not miss any of the videos I publish. Alexander I of Epirus, also known as Alexander Molossus, was born in 370 BCE, about 14 years before Alexander the Great was born. Alexander Molossus was the son of Neoptolemus I, the king of the Molossia tribe that lived on the land that is today part of southern Albania and northwestern Greece. The Molossian Kingdom was the neighbor of Macedonia. Alexander was also the brother of Olympias, who married Philip II, the king of Macedonia, as the fourth wife and became the mother of Alexander the Great. Neoptolemus I died when Alexander was about 13 years old. His uncle, Aribas, became the king of Molossia, and Alexander went to stay with his sister Olympias in Macedonia. It is most likely he witnessed the birth of Alexander the Great and lived with him in the same household for a while. With the help of his brother-in-law Philip II, Alexander Molossus acquired special education and military training, and when he was of age, Philip II helped him to rise to the throne in Molossia. It was after becoming the king that Alexander acquired the title of Alexander of Epirus, and that was as a result of bringing all the tribes of the Epirus region under his rule. Meanwhile, he married one of Philip II's daughters, Cleopatra. He was therefore not only Philip II's brother-in-law but also his son-in-law, and he was both an uncle and brother-in-law to Alexander the Great. Some sources state that Philip II was assassinated during the wedding between Alexander of Epirus and Cleopatra. Like his nephew, Alexander of Epirus was an efficient general. While they never became enemies, there was a competition between nephew and uncle as to who would conquer the most land. While Alexander the Great headed east and southeast, Alexander of Epirus headed west. First, he went to southern Italy under the invitation of the Greeks settled there, particularly the Tarentines, who needed help fighting native Italian cities to the north, including Rome. In Molossia, Dodona, the most revered oracle in the entire land occupied by Greek tribes, was located. Before departing to conquer the Italian peninsula, Alexander of Epirus consulted the oracle. Livy writes, when he was invited by the Tarentines into Italy, he received a warning to be aware of the water of Acheron and the city of Pandosia, for it was there that the limit of his destiny was fixed. Alexander Molossus understood the message from the oracle to mean River Acheron, which was within the Epirus region. He did not worry much about it, especially since he was moving away from it as he headed to the Italian peninsula. Livy writes, this made him cross over into Italy all the sooner, that he might be as far as possible from the city of Pandosia in Epirus and the river Acheron, which flows from the Molossis into the infernal marshes and finally empties itself into the Sprotian Gulf. But as often happens, in trying to avoid his fate, he rushed upon it. Alexander successfully brought a significant part of the peninsula under his control and signed a peace treaty with the Romans. Livy writes, he won many victories over the nationalities of southern Italy, inflicting numerous defeats upon the legions of Bruttium and Lucania, capturing the city of Heraclea, a colony of the settlers from Tarentum, taking Potentia from the Lucanians, Sipontum from the Apulians, and Consentia and Terina from the Pruti, and other cities belonging to the Messapians and Lucanians. He sent 300 noble families to Epirus to be detained there as hostages. Everything seemed to go well until he set camp on 3 hills that happened to be near a city that also went by the name Pandosia, in the land of the Lucanians. It started raining heavily and the valleys between the hills flooded, which made it difficult for the different camps to coordinate their campaigns. Indeed, the extreme weather gave the Lucanians the advantage and they easily captured and they destroyed 2 of the 3 camps. They then concentrated on capturing the third where Alexander was based. He successfully repulsed the attack and killed one of the Lucanian generals. Nevertheless, Alexander decided to retreat to the land occupied by his allies. When he reached the river, he discovered the flood had carried the bridge away. Livy writes, While his men were fording it with every uncertain footing, a soldier, almost spent by his exertions and his fears, cursed the river for its unlucky name and said, "Rightly art thou called Acheros." When these words fell on his ear, the king at once recalled to mind the oracular warning and stopped, doubtful whether to cross or not. Despite recalling the words of the Oracle of Dodona, Alexander had no other option but to cross the river, as he saw that the Lucanian refugees who were part of his entourage had decided to turn against him and were preparing to attack. As he crossed the river, one of them threw a spear and mortally wounded him. He fell off his horse and was carried downstream by the water. He was only 39 years old. His body washed up next to the enemy camp, where it was mutilated and used for sport. It was rescued and secured by one Lucanian woman who needed it to bargain for the release of her family held as prisoners of war in Molossia. Livy writes, "What was left of the limbs was cremated at Consentia by the reverential care of this one woman, and the bones were sent back to Metapontum. From there they were carried to Cleopatra, the king's wife, and Olympias, his sister, the latter of whom was the mother, and the former the sister of Alexander the Great." If you found this video interesting, take a moment to strike the like button. I also welcome your comment. See you in the next video.